You are watching ESPN Cricinfo Matchday T20 edition. I am Nikhil Naz. We're building up to game number 9 that will feature Kings 11 Punjab and Mumbai Indians. Punjab hosting Mumbai in Mohali. This will be the first game to be played in Mohali. And even though this match will feature the likes of Chris Gale and Rohit Sharma, but the most important element may just be the return crease on this particular match, because you might just have a no ball, you could just have a Mankading, who knows. Deeptas Gupta, Brad Hott joined me in the studio. We're taking a look at this game. It's a stadium where Kings 11 have done rather well. You've been part of that team. It's a stadium they enjoy. I'm looking at the overall record. What, 51% odd is their win percentage? But last season, I remember, they won every game that they played here.
Yeah, they did. And they played particularly good cricket there. I think we as a team, or they as a team, really enjoyed the larger surface. What it did is it brought the spinners that they had into the game. Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Mujib in particular, AJ Ty with his change of pace. And also we had a guy named Chris Gale who enjoyed batting there as well. The ball was coming on. He maximised the ground. Like, it's a ground where you have to hit big sixes.
Yeah.
So for us, it was a nice setup. Unfortunately, when we moved to indoor, that game plan came crashing down. So I think that it's good that the owners have actually listened to, the players in group and worked out that, hey, this is where they want to play their cricket. It's a great ground. It's a really nice ground to play, and generally well supported.
It's interesting that their home games earlier, as Brad was mentioning, were divided between indoor and Kings, and this time they're playing in Mohali. So
it makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference because, and especially if you're not aware of it when you're making the side during auction and when you're picking up players. If you know that you're going to play 14 matches in a certain venue, or rather 7 matches in a certain venue, you can build that team accordingly. But suddenly halfway through or just after the auction, you get to know, no, you've got to change venues, and the venues are different. For example, Pune and Chennai are very similar. So if you've made the team for Chennai and then move to Pune, it's fine. But then if you change from, let's say, Chinnaswamy to Chennai, it makes a huge difference, because that's not how you kind of made your team.
All right, we're just getting news that Kings 11 Punjab have won the toss and they've decided to bowl first, so they will be chasing, and you'll see the likes of Rohit Sharma walk out into the middle very, very soon. Just going with the way the teams would be looking. We still don't have the update on the teams, but would you like to make a few changes? Brad, I'll come to you first. Mumbai, I doubt they'll go.
Yeah, I don't think Mumbai will make any changes. I mean, I thought they did the right thing. They brought Makande back into the mix last game, which was he could have had 2 for none, particularly, would have got rid of AB. Lasik Malinga was back to his best, and he'll help support Jasprit Bumrah as well. So I like that move. I think that after a victory, you don't like to change too much. That's what Kings 11 did when they went to KKR. I think they'll go back to the initial side that they had for the first game, but we'll just wait and see. I think Mujib, for me, is someone that has to come in, especially on a day pitch in Mohali. He's particularly impressive there last year, and for me, he's a match winner. So just 1 or 2 changes, but generally just it's settled top 6 in both sides, and just 1 or 2 tinkering here and there.
Okay, now we've got the teams now. Mumbai, as we were talking, they are unchanged and you didn't expect too many changes. We'll get to Kings 11 who made a change a little later, but Mumbai, Deep, I'm staying with what Brad was mentioning. You didn't expect them to make any changes. Though we've got people commenting, you would have gotten in Ishan Kishan maybe for Yuvraj and things like that.
Not really. I mean, he's looked all right, Yuvraj, in the last couple of games that he's played. And no changes, as Haji mentioned. If you won the last game and you won all right. And looking at that side, we all thought that that bowling side is the best that Mumbai Indian has. So if you look at from that perspective, brilliant, because this is also a pretty high scoring venue. Even afternoon games can be a little on the slower side, the pitch and everything else. But it still would be a 160, 170 pitch. So looking at that, you need your best bowlers available to you to play. And then obviously you back your batsmen on a good batting pitch to score runs.
And I think they've set that side up nicely, because not only will Lasif have to depart, but then Jason Berendorf will also come in. So it might just be a like for like. So for me, it looks like a pretty balanced set squad at the moment that Mahela and Rohit have put together.
All right, no changes for Mumbai Indians, but 1 change there for Kings 11 Punjab. And you've got Murugan Ashwin coming in for Varun Chakravarti, the $1 million man, is out after that debut game that he played. Murugan Ashwin comes in. That's a bit surprising. And Ashwin said it's a forced change, so they probably didn't want to change him. Maybe because it's an injury, because he mentioned that what force change. We'll still have to wait on the final word on that, why they've changed him. But are you surprised? Because I'm just going back to the previous season, we were talking about Kings. Mujib was one of the main reasons that you did so well in Mohali. He still doesn't make it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused by this actually. I mean, maybe they want the ball speed with William, but yeah, they got Ankit Rajput as well, who's sitting there waiting. He's a pretty good bowler. He had a good performance in the first game. Now he's out of the side for 2 games. I'm not sure. For me, Mujib's first pick. I just think he's an outstanding player. If it's a forced the injury, maybe, he's got a sore neck from watching them go over the top of his head. But yeah, I mean, that's what you pick him for. If he's available, you pay $1 million to play at Mohali. It's a bigger surface. So I'm not sure that, let time be told, but I'm not sure Ashwin's the rightful inclusion.
Deep's clearly also not happy with that change.
Yeah, it is baffling because I can understand if you don't have Indian fast bowlers and you're kind of forced to play an overseas fast bowler. But if I have to choose between Willian and Ankit Rajput and also looking at Mujib, who is sitting outside because of the restrictions, I think for me it's not really a big decision to make. You play Mujib, and I've mentioned this before, he's in my playing 11 every day. If he's there, he's playing. If he's available, he's playing. And then you have Ankit Rajput, who's done really well since last season for Kings. So it is baffling, no two ways.
Just playing the devil's advocate, William, we're talking about bowled 4 overs, gave away just 36 runs, picked up a wicket. Not a bad performance by him.
Yeah,
but I'm saying you're taking Mujib into the mix.
Mujib into the mix. And also,
it's not match winning, is it?
It's not. And also compare it with Ankit. It's not that Ankit's been given 58 or 4.
Yeah, good game.
So, Ankit's picking wickets, he's bowling well, he's done well for you. So there's not too much of a difference how I see it between Ankit and Willian. Yes, he's an overseas player.
So the balance tilts because you get Mujib into the mix, and that's why
exactly. And with Mujib you have the flexibility of bowling a spinner in the first 6. You can bowl in the death. You can bowl him wherever you want to.
Yeah.
So that flexibility also is very important.
All right, we'll take our first poll question of the day. That's coming up on your screen. You could vote now using the Facebook reactions that you can see on your screens right now. Will Punjab miss Mujib in Mohali? And that is what we were discussing. We've got yes, a heart there, and no. And Deep, I can see, is already voting for a yes.
Yeah,
is that why you went on your phone? Voting a yes, they're going to miss him?
Yeah.
I mean, the man picked up, in 3 matches, 11 wickets last time around they played.
Yeah, and the first game he went for a few, accepted. So is Sunil Narayan has gone for a few, right? So it doesn't mean you're going to drop them, right?
He actually went 8 and over, which isn't bad.
Which isn't bad, but again, he's a wicket-taking bowler. He's not somebody who will just look at containing. He's someone who can pick wickets with. So yeah, well.
Okay, let's now turn our attention to the next topic of discussion. That's Yuvraj Singh. He started this season on a positive note. Considering how the last 2 or 3 seasons had gone, he didn't have too many takers in the auction as well. Now at least he's paying back the faith that was reposed in him by Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, I mean, he started well, hasn't he? I mean, I'm happy for Yuvraj. It's good to go and find a new home and make a contribution. You don't want to go there and fail by any stretch of the imagination. So, look, we know the history of Yuvraj. He's one of the best, if not the best, Indian one-day international player, middle-order player to make an impact for his country. Those numbers, they're the alarming ones. The power play batting, striking 100, mid, 118. So what that suggests is he takes a little bit of time to get going. And I think that what's happened is the Mumbai Indians team understand that completely, and they'll give him that luxury of a little bit of time. So for me, Yuvraj just started well. He's attacked bowlers which have been lovely matchups for him. Whether now oppositions will now give him those matchups which are favourable, we'll just have to wait and see. You wouldn't think so. So for me, he's got all the makings to have a really good IPL season. He started well. He must be feeling good about himself. He's striking the ball well. I mean, those sixes that he hit weren't just chunks. They were massive sixes. So for me, that's a good sign for Yuvraj.
Just going back and looking back at Yuvraj's career, he's always been a confidence player, you'd say. And that confidence maybe was the reason that wasn't given in the earlier franchises. He may not have been performing. Rohit seems to have a lot of confidence in him. Then you've got Zahir, someone who believes in him. So do you think that is the reason that's making a huge difference?
I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised because, as you mentioned, he's an emotional person as well. So he works on his emotions a lot. He depends on his emotions a lot. And that's where I think Rohit who's very close to him. Zahir, who's close to him. They're very good friends, all three of them, I think, and obviously Sachin and everyone else.
Yeah.
So I think he's one guy, the environment matters a lot. And that's where I think he's more comfortable with all these people around him, his friends around him. I think that makes a huge difference. And also I think he's been a little smart, not just him and the team management, as you mentioned, to put him against and in situations where his chances of being successful are a lot more. For example, the matchups that Haji mentioned, you've got a spinner, you've got a leg spinner or a left arm spinner. Now's the time for him to go out. So even today, you've got someone like Ashwin, Murugan Ashwin, a leg spinner there. Not a bad idea to send him when he's around.
Well, that's an interesting point. We'll talk about that. Just quickly take a look at Yuvraj's number. We were talking about how it's been patchy in the last few seasons. But there you take a look at the average there. 2019, it's clearly the standout performance goes back to 2014 when he was averaging as well as he is. And look at that strike rate. It's been the best that we've seen of Yuvraj in the last 5 years, fair to say. I mean, look at the strike rate and the average. It's I know just 2 games down into the IPL, but the signs are there.
Well, if you keep that going, you're happy, aren't you? And I'm sure Yuvraj himself personally will be happy. But yeah, I like what Deep says about there's players off field, Sachin, your big names. When Yuvraj was at the Kings 11 Punjab, he's the biggest name.
Yep.
There is no bigger name in that area. So yeah, that's something which I think may have settled him nicely. But look, he looks to be enjoying his cricket. That's the main thing. And when he's in a good headspace, he can be as damaging.
Today he's playing, I know his home right now is Mumbai. Today he's playing in his real home, that is Mohali. I mean, a little bit, whatever I can remember, hasn't had a great time playing in Mohali. Now, with the confidence that he has, maybe a chance to turn that around?
Yeah, surely yes. Surely yes. There's 2 ways about it. The other important thing about Mohali is the ground dimension plays a massive role in terms of the length of the bowlers. Because your straight boundaries are very short. They'll be about 55 odd yards. The side boundaries are massive. So generally a lot of bowlers pitch it short there. And now in the evening games, the faster bowlers get a little more bounce, a little more pace. So it can be a little tricky because it works in their favour. But day game, that can be, again, I mean, if you look at those dimensions, works in favour of the batsman to a certain extent.
Also, they'll have the best of the pitch as far as Mumbai Indians are concerned because they'll be batting first there. It is, remember, a day game, as Deep was saying. Also, no concerns about you in this particular match. We'll talk about Ashwin now, the captain of Kings 11 Punjab. And the one thing that we're seeing right now, that he hasn't been bowling himself a lot in the power play. Now, that is a huge change from what we saw in Ashwin earlier while he was at Chennai. Then in the last few seasons, we've seen that he's not been bowling himself a lot in the power play. Those are the numbers there on the screen right now. This is overs that he's bowled in power play in the IPL all throughout. You could see, I mean, 2010, 11, 2009 we discussed in the quiz as well, didn't get too many opportunities, so that way is not something that we're counting. 2010 onwards, 22, 28, 25 overs that he bowled, and then it goes down. I mean, this is the time that he was still with Chennai, 2013, 14 we can see, and then ever since even he moved to Kings 11, where he's the captain. I mean, some could agree that while at that time in Chennai, maybe the captain didn't have that much confidence in him, but now that he's the captain, he's still not bowling himself in the power play. But you've been part of the team. Why do you think that is happening?
Yeah, I think it's part of his matchups as well. I mean, the surface where he's playing at Chennai was gripping and turning. Mohali's a little bit different. He's a good economical bowler. For me, also, Mujib was there last year. So he's not going to take that role off Mujib if he's playing. Mujib's certainly going to bowl 2 or 3. And then if Ashwin bowls in the power play again, you probably 3 overs is pretty tough. You still like to give the new ball bowlers with the quicks an opportunity to get a brand new ball. So for me, his role may change now that Mujib is out. Yeah. So you might see him bowl a little bit more in the power play. He's got a good record against Rohit Sharma, so he's quite economical against Rohit. He gave the ball to the youngster who played his first game,
Varun Chakravarti.
Yeah. So he's open to giving opportunities to others to do their role. So they're matchups. Now that he's the main spinner in that organisation, he may have to step up to the plate. So I think give him some time. He's a very analytical captain, and he'll look at specific matchups and numbers. He plays that out in his mind. So for him, if there's a real opportunity for opener bowling, he'll do it.
Okay, we'll take a look at how our Ashwin's phase-wise performance has been in the IPL since 2015, and these are just, you take a look at the middle over, and that's where you take a look at his economy as well, and the maximum number of overs, 96 in the middle. That's 7 to 15, not so much to begin with in the first 1 to 6. So this is something that he did perform a role for Chennai, you know, bowling with the new ball. In fact, does it sometimes for India as well at the international level. Then are you surprised with that change of role?
I'm not surprised. Surely not.
Is it because of the calculation, as Brad says, that he calculates each match and thinks this is the match I should do it and not every
Absolutely. He's very calculative in those matters, and as Haji mentioned, he's very analytical. He'll look at numbers. He's aware of all the numbers. He's aware of the opposition's numbers, their team numbers, and he'll work it out accordingly. Mujib being there last year made a huge difference. You don't want two spinners bowl in the first 6, so Mujib would bowl that. And now maybe this game you might see him bowl maybe an over or 2.
That was my next question. You've got Quinton de Kock right on the top, or left-hander coming. Would Ashwin be tempted?
I got no doubt he should be tempted, and I think that's one matchup where he might look at it, have a look at the statistics and go, right, I'm the man for the job. So definitely I think that'll come into calculation today for sure. He'll see a nice matchup against Yuvraj as well. So you will see him bowling in the middle. You know, economically wise, you're happy for a spinner to go at 6.5, 7 in the middle.
Yeah,
they're good numbers.
Those were good numbers.
They're good numbers. So I think where people are critical of Ashwin is how many wickets he picks up. But he's about a group dynamic. If you play a role, someone else will also benefit. So that's the way he thinks.
Okay, we'll wait and see how this one goes and where is it that he bowls himself. But we've got the result of the first bowl. We had asked you, will Punjab miss Mujib in Mohali? And that's a no-brainer. Most believe he has 74%. Our experts believe that as well, and our viewers too. I don't know what the team management is thinking at the moment. Of course, they must have had their own plans. Okay, this is the next poll that you can participate in. Who will win today's game? It's easy and simple. You've got to press a surprise emoji for Punjab and a happy one for Mumbai. I wonder why they've chosen that, expecting Mumbai to win. I guess, okay, we'll take a look at the result of that poll a little while later. So do go in and vote on our Facebook page as well. But just now turning our attention to the next bit of our discussion, we're talking about the Pandya brothers, their utility. Let's start with Krunal Pandya. I'll start with you, Deep. Bowling hasn't been paying dividends, but I'll talk about his batting. I mean, I remember number 4, there was a time that he was batting at number 4 or number 5. When you gave him responsibility, he scored. When you're pushing him down the order, that's when he tended to not really get you too many runs. I mean, this is his position-wise number. And there, as I said, you know, that number 3, he averages rather well at 86. And then got that opportunity to bat at number 4 with a strike rate of 175. Number 5, okay, numbers are fine there with a 29
numbers
average.
Are very good. Numbers are very good. And listen, and we've had this chat about Krunal when Ronak was here, and I'm a big fan of Krunal Pandya.
Okay.
I think he is someone who is more of a batsman who can bowl, but somebody who is very flexible in how he bats.
You think more of a batsman?
I think he's more of a batsman. Okay. I'd rate him as a top 5 batsman. And I think the best part about him is he's very flexible. I remember a couple of seasons ago, there were quite a few games where Mumbai had lost a few wickets early, and he went in and did the sheet anchor, played the sheet anchor role. He's flexible enough to strike at 200 plus as well. You know what he brings is a lot of calmness when he's batting, which I like. And I have no doubt in my mind that post World Cup, we might even see him in the 50-over format for India as well. And as a bowler also, he's a quality as in a utility bowler. Yeah, you know, you might not get 4 overs out of him every game, but he's good for 2-3 every game.
But do you think that's the problem there? If he's a utility bowler, so is Hardik Pandya a utility bowler, so is a Kieron Pollard who's a utility bowler. And then when you put in too many utility bowlers, you really don't have those fixed bowlers that you need. I mean, you've got the Bumrah and the Malingas, but then it's the number 4, number 5 bowler that could be a problem.
No, I think there's plenty. For me, we did talk about it. Statistically, Krunal Pandya actually is in the top 3 all-rounders in this competition. So,
he's done rather well.
The impact with his bat, the impact with the ball. We've seen the matchups for him are quite important. For him, bowling to left-handed batsmen is a slight issue. That's a slight issue for any left-arm orthodox, I'll be honest. So the only issue that Rohit will have is what happens if Chris Gale is still at the crease or David Miller. That's a matchup that they may have to manage. So Corin Pollard might be someone. For me, his brother, Hardik, is a frontline bowler. In T20 cricket, he's a guy that bowls 4 overs every game. So anyone that can bowl 10 overs for your country consistently, he's a banker. He might go for 8.5s, but when you put that with Bumrah and McClenaghan and Malinga, you're sorted. No problem.
Okay, we'll take a look at Hardik Pandya's numbers just as far as his bowling is concerned, and this is a phase-wise division that we've got for you. Different overs. The first 6 overs, his economy is about 9.9. It's 7 to 15 where it consolidates, but you'd expect that in that phase of the game. And then 16 to 20 where it goes to 10.9. He's also picked up a lot of wickets then. So you'd be happy with this number, Deep, at 10.9 to go in that last.
See, again, you've got to look at it is from since 2015.
Yeah.
Right. He's a much better bowler in the last 1 year. Right. If you look at him, he's actually became
2018 onwards would be better.
Yeah, 18 South Africa series when he actually started playing as the 5th bowler, and India only played 5 bowlers in the ODI side. So since South Africa series, which was early 2018, I think he's a much improved bowler. So if you look at those numbers, they don't look very impressive. But you've got to remember that out of those numbers, predominant was before 2018.
Okay. Looking at the 2 all-rounders for Mumbai, the Pandya brothers, and they will play a very, very crucial role in this particular game. We're now looking at the next point of discussion that we're talking about. The 2 openers that are playing for Kings 11 Punjab were very, very crucial for them. A lot depends on them in KL Rahul and Chris Gale and how they have been performing for the team. In fact, if you take a look at the number of runs that are scored, they eventually get majority of runs for their team, and this is a record at Mohali in 2018. The last season we were talking about the 5 games that were played, and if you look at Chris Gale's numbers there, he's got 167 average, 2 innings that he played there at a strike rate of 174. Just to add to those numbers, he averages overall against Mumbai Indians close to 40 in the IPL. So this is one team he loves to play against, and this is one ground where he loves to play against. Gale Storm.
Yeah, I had the joy of watching him peel off 100 against Chennai, and I had the joy of watching KL Rahul get the fastest 50 in the IPL. Both at Mohali, both in the first couple of games. They love batting here. And there's no doubt they're a big jigsaw piece puzzle in this Kings 11 unit. Chris Gale looks in particularly good form. KL Rahul, fraction scratchy early on, but he's a class player. Once these 2 get going, there's no stopping. I'd be very nervous. What I saw from last year, Mumbai Indians probably had the best plan to Chris Gale that I saw. Bumrah comes short, McClenaghan comes short. They attacked from basically waist up to his neck, and they took out anything in front of him. So their plans will be strong. They'll have a good methodology with that. KL Rahul just needs to get his game up in order. Once he starts firing, watch out.
But looking at that batting order, they have to depend a lot on the top 2-3, because I think Ashwin bats at number 7.
Yes.
So their batting depth isn't that great as far as Kings is concerned. So they would actually depend a lot on the top 2-3 players.
All right, interesting couple of points that Brad made about the plan that Mumbai has versus Chris Gale, that of bowling short pitch and back of the length deliveries, and this is Gale versus short pitch bowling in IPL since 2015. We're taking a look at that, and this is his average 16 back of length and 9.83 with short pitch delivery. So there is a weakness area which has been identified. We can expect a few flying across his nose.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no 2 ways about it. As Haji mentioned, he doesn't move his feet, and listen, he's 40. He's going to be 40 if he's not already 40. So there is a difference. But yes, if you give him anything in his arc, up to him a little fuller, he can be dangerous. So yeah, listen, Mumbai Indians, and they also have the pace to do it. They have the ball speed that Haji mentions. They have it to actually not just pitch it short and bring it up to that level, but at a very decent pace. And this pitch has pace, even though it's a day game. It's on the faster side as far as Indian pitches are concerned.
Okay, you're talking about the Mumbai bowlers. Let's see how they've done against Chris Gale up until now. And this is just Chris Gale versus Mumbai bowlers. This ineffective Malingas, got him out twice, and this is IPL. And
look at those strike rates.
Yeah, that not this season as the graphic mentioned. This is an IPL overall. Jasprit Bumrah has got him out one. McClanahan has also got him out once, and then Hardik Pandya once. Despite these numbers, he still averages 41 versus Mumbai Indians. What do you put that down to?
Well, he probably tonks every other spin bowler that comes.
So he's clever
That's
too,
his
then.
game plan. Absolutely, he's clever. I mean, he knows that these guys trouble him. So what do you do as a sportsman? You see off your trouble and take something that's you're positive about. So that's why you've got to give Chris Gale credit. He's a gun test player, gun one-day player, and a gun T20 player. You don't play 100 tests and play that many games because you're silly. You play because you're educated and smart, and he's a lot smarter than people think.
Since we're talking about openers, a word on KL Rahul. We spoke about Yuvraj being a confident player, and looks like KL Rahul is like that, needs a bit of confidence to really get going. If he needs one ground to bring that confidence back, it would be this
Absolutely.
stadium.
And I look back to the last game and how he got dismissed. He was in two minds whether to play or leave. Don't do that.
But
Just
that's
trust
been
yourself.
happening with him.
I can understand
even in
against
India,
red ball.
Pandya.
That's
Yeah.
what. Again, in red ball cricket, I can understand that. But white ball cricket, just trust yourself. Go after it. I know they would be under a little bit of pressure because, as I mentioned, the batting strength of Kings. But you've got to trust yourself and just back yourself to whatever you think. The biggest problem is in batting is when we overcomplicate things. See it, watch it, hit it, or whatever, leave it. Whatever you want to do, be clear about it. So it was a little disappointing. You will get out, right? You will get out. You will get out early. You will score runs. But how you do that is more important. And last time, the way he got dismissed was a little disappointing.
Trust yourself, back yourself. Those
Back
two
yourself.
words actually lead me to a next point of discussion. Who are you trusting? Who are you backing in this particular encounter? It is Mumbai versus Kings 11. Last time around, we're getting the two experts here to pick their Fab Four, the four players that they think will perform really well in this particular encounter. Brad, you went first
Yeah,
last
Deep
time.
can
This
go
time
first
it
this
is
time.
Deep's turn.
Okay,
Four players.
I'm chasing. Okay, Kings chasing. I'm going to pick Chris Gale. Hi.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, any players which would be
Let's
common
go
on
for
them?
it,
All right,
man.
all right.
It's your last day. Come on.
So
He's
I'm,
in a generous mood today.
Yeah.
okay,
Even-
you know what?
even in the quiz,
all right, I'm gonna go with Chris Gale,
Right, okay.
and I'm gonna leave Rohit for him, and I'll go with Quinton de Kock. Quinton de Kock, and I need a spinner there. I'm sure spinners will play a role. Bumrah, and a spinner Markande.
I don't know about which team's going to win the Fair Play Award, but between the two of them, I think both deserve it. They'll be nice to each other. You let Rohit go for Brad. But let's see if Brad's going to pick him on.
I'll take Rohit. Why not? I mean, what a
Okay.
player. I was going to take Bumrah and Makanda as well. I'll tell you what, I'll go with the Lasif Malinga actually. I think his change of pace might work. I'll go with Hardik Pandya. How many is that?
3. You got Rohit, Malinga, Pandya. All 3 Mumbai Indian players.
Okay, and I'll go with who are the spinners? They
Ashwin?
got Ashwin. They got Ashwin.
Murugan,
and they
Ashwin.
got who else?
Krunal Pandya.
I'll go with AJ Thai actually.
AJ Thai.
AJ,
Yeah.
good.
Good pick. Maximum wickets he got last time around. Okay,
Yeah.
you've gone with him. Okay, those are the 4 options that they've picked. The 4 Fab 4 for Deep Das Gupta and Brad Hodge. Just to remind you, we had a poll that we asked you a short while ago, which is the team that is going to win this particular encounter, and the votes are in. 33% for Punjab and 67% for Mumbai. And guess what? Someone may have been watching our show. Ashwin with the new ball.
There you go.
Okay, quickly, predictions. You're going with what?
With Mumbai, but I think the toss, because they're chasing Kings 11, that's kind of balanced out the things a
50-50
bit.
you're going?
I'd still say Mumbai 55-45.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that actually, but I actually think Kings 11 might get the job done chasing with the. I just got a feeling the Gale force might turn up today. So.
All right,
Thank
that's
you,
interesting. It's
Yeah,
good.
that's right.
It's good to have you both disagree. We'll see who's the one who got this right. You were watching ESPN Cricinfo Matchday. We'll see you in the meetings.